1, 2, 3, 4.
Have you ever wondered how they do that? How they actually set up the accordion so that their arranger changes keys along with them as they're changing on their bass? This is what we're going to be taking a look at through this video. And hopefully we will go to unsolve the mystery for a couple of people and see how this works. Let's take a look and see what they're doing, okay? This all starts with a simple Midi cable. These little cables with a male 5-pin DIN connector on each side are what are going to help connect our accordion to the arranger. Now, without this, it's going to be a little bit difficult to follow through on this and get the signal information from one side to the other. Because the way that it works is our accordions have the ability to send this information of what the bass changes are out the accordion through the cable into the input on the arranger. So that means that we're going to go from the MIDI out of the accordion via the cable into the MIDI in connector on the arrangers. And talking about arrangers, there are a lot of different variations that we have out there that are available to us. Probably the most popular ones that we all know and see out there are the keyboard synthesizers. These are very popular out there. However, my personal opinion is that as an accordionist, this is not a practical item to have. For one, the keyboard, because it's a full-size keyboard, is huge, so it makes it heavier, longer, more difficult to carry. Also, let's face a fact here. When we are playing the accordion, our hands are occupied. We're not like a keyboard player where we have one hand or the other free at any given moment that we can play with the settings on these things. So we're going to have to choose a system that is simple, effective, and we can control from our own position, which is on the accordion. Okay, so that means we're going to have minimal interaction with it, except perhaps maybe in between songs when we're changing styles, etc. Arrangers that have no keyboard, they're going to be smaller, more compact, and they're really designed a bit better overall, just generally speaking, to our needs as accordionists. Now, there's nothing stopping you from taking a full-size synthesizer and using that as your arranger, but it's not going to be very pleasant after a while. Just try to imagine carrying that around a few times. You'll get fed up of it real quick. I already get tired with the amount of equipment that I have to carry from gig to gig on the few times that I ever even do gig. So the fact that I don't have to carry around a full piano-sized keyboard on top of everything else, I consider that a blessing. And my choices of arrangers reflects this choice. Different MIDI accordions are going to have different kinds of setup available to them. We know that pretty much MIDI has various channels in there, okay? And each arranger has to listen to various channels for various functions. For example, I think the industry standard pretty much can agree that channel 1 is going to be the right hand. This is where the differences pretty much end. Some accordion manufacturers set channel 2 for the chords and 3 for the bass. The nice thing about the Roland V-accordions is that they've standardized. So if you have a Roland V-accordion, you're going to see that pretty much they all agree on the channels that they use. For example, this is the setup for a Roland FR4X. And if you take a look, you'll see that it kind of matches the exact same specifications for MIDI channel assignments as the 8X. And this pattern rolls across most of the other Roland V-accordions. Now, it's going to be feature specific, of course, right? But yeah, we can see that for the two big ones, the 4X and the 8X, they share a good level of commonality right here. Okay, so here's where we're going to take a little turn in this video. When it comes time to controlling the arranger's choice of chord selection, there's very little we need to know how to set up. Basically, this is all done through one channel. If you take a look, channel 3, the chords. This is the little secret. That's not such a big secret on what controls an arranger. Every time that we make a chord change on our left hand, it sends a pulse of a MIDI signal on channel 3 saying, here's what the chord should be. The arranger picks it up and changes and plays along with us. So the big thing now is, how do we set things up? Well, from the side of the Roland V-accordions, there's nothing to set up. They're already defined that the chord changes are going to happen on channel 3. The change is going to happen on the side of the arranger. And that's where we have to tell them that for channel 3, we need you to be listening to it and assign it to the chord changes. The good side is it's not too hard to do, but the bad side is different arrangers have different ways of defining this and different menuing systems to go in there and changing what they're going to listen to when they talk about channel 3 and how they're going to deal with it. Let's take a quick look at the two ways. I have in my possession a Roland BK7M. Now, the easy way is, of course, use the wizard. I just select the wizard, save the settings. Every time I turn on my arranger, it's ready to play with my Roland V-accordion. However, if I wanted to take a look at using this manually, where do I go? Let's take a look at that now. For the BK7M, what we're going to do is I'm going to just go into the main menu. Then let's go down to Midi. Then we'll go to the bottom where it says Edit System. We're going to choose NTA, which is Notes to Arranger. We select channel 3 here, and then we make sure that the RX is turned on, as it is right here. From this point on, we can just make sure that we save it, and then every time that we turn on our Roland, channel 3 will be listening for changes, and it will accept them and follow along with us. With the MIDI cable connected to our 8X, let's take a look and see that while I'm pressing the chord buttons, we see at the top that it's accepting my chord changes. This works perfectly. Let's move over to the Ketron X4 and see how the process changes when it comes time to setting the channel on this arranger. So this is the Ketron X4. You'll see that the menuing system on this machine is totally different. We'll have the main screen up there, and on the top right, you'll see that I have to move to the MIDI section. So it's F6 to get into the MIDI section. Let's press that. On the left side, we see channel to receive. So channel transmit, channel receive is what we're looking for. That's F2. If I take a look at this section, take a look here. The right hand is set for channel 1. Left hand's already set for channel 3. Now, obviously, we can change this to any of the 16 channels available on this unit, but left hand channel 3 is exactly what we're looking for. That means when this is set to channel 3, it will follow us. And that's the only thing left for us to do is to make this a default setting. And there's a little process that you have to read up, and it's going to be specific to every other arranger to make sure that this gets saved. Okay, so if you've done everything properly, you now have a cable running out of the MIDI out of your accordion, going into the MIDI in of your arranger, and everything should be working. You'll see that it's going to change chords with you, and you should be able to enjoy it. The thing you'll have to also take notice is there's a little change of a technique. If you do the standard boom chuck bass, your chord changes are going to always be a half second late. So you have to do your boom chuck at the same time. So your chord and bass change will have to be done at the same time so that they start at the start of the measure. That's a consideration that you have to have. A little technique to learn. But short of that, everything should be working well. You should be enjoying it, and everything's working fantastic. All right, guys, it's been my pleasure to complete this for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. Take care. Have a great day.